I am just going to make this very quick. I am re-reviewing Binary Data Volume 3. I am lowering the score down to a 77% simply because of the fact that this part of the Binary Data series simply feels like filler. It's padded out for way too much time and it was extremely repetitive compared to Volume 1 and 2. I still think that Volume 1 is the best in the series so far. Volume 3 is just better as background music. Album review number 5. Binary Data Volume 4. 9 songs in Volume 4 going from Binary Data 34 all the way to 42. Starting off with 34. Binary Data 34 starts off yet another Binary Data volume. Compared to Binary Data 1, 9, and 19, I think this stacks up in second place compared to all the other introductions to the Binary Data volumes. I think it is on par with Binary Data 1, even though it has a different attitude in terms of how it was played. Binary Data 1 has certain playfulness to it. This one felt a bit melancholic and powerful. However, I do think that Binary Data 9 is still better. It had a very interesting melody, which is why I think it is a very hard song to beat. But I do think that Binary Data 34 stacks up pretty well. Certainly way better than 19. Binary Data 35 is probably my favorite song in Binary Data Volume 4, and probably my favorite song in the entire Binary Data series. This song uses a heavy 7-note delay. The song is similar to Binary Data 5, which is from the first volume, in a sense where both of those songs used heavy delays, and they seem to be pretty hard to play. This song is a very slow burn. It is over 5 minutes and it is well worth the wait because the climax of the song where you just hear max power is just insanely beautiful and ethereal. And the best part is once you reach this part of the song where the momentum is really hard, Alfonso Peduto keeps adding on little tidbits to the melody to make it even more amazing. And then it slowly dies down and the ending has so much reverb and it just lets you sit there for a while just absorbing everything you just consumed with your ears. There is really nothing of note in Binary Data 36. This song has practically the same tempo and rhythm as so many of the other Binary Data songs from Volume 3. Very similar, very repetitive, and just nothing of note. Not much variation in the melody. The tempo just remains exactly the same. So I am not even going to play a clip of the song. This is a pretty weak song in Volume 4. Binary Data 37. This one is different. This is the longest song in the Binary Data series. And this one is rather dynamic despite the tempo and rhythm being rather stagnant. It maintains that through multiple pitch changes. I feel like this song is pretty relentless, much like Binary Data 35. Although the pitch changing does add dynamics to the song, I do wish there were rhythm and tempo changes as well to really show off the full dynamic capability of this song. It is still a bit repetitive, and for 9 minutes it does sort of kind of overstay its welcome, but this is a pretty powerful song. It also has a pretty strong bass to it. Binary Binary Data 38 suffers from what is probably the exact same problem as Binary Data 36, albeit there is a different melody and there is a bit of a slow burn. However, the payoff is not as good as Binary Data 35, and the song is just rather stagnant, so this is yet another song I am just not going to put a clip of. Binary Data 39 overstays its welcome harder than any song in the Binary Data series. It is over 9 minutes. The rhythm does not change, the tempo does not change, the bloody melody does not change for over 9.5 freaking minutes. I think this is my least favorite song in the entire album. My mind was zoning out in the middle of listening to this song. I had to play it again to get a proper read on it. At least in Binary Data 36, you had pitch changing and some hard bass in the song to keep you busy. This song does not really keep you busy, in my opinion. 3/4 of the way in, it slows down to this tranquil sound after a little bit of a slow burn to a climax, and then the song climaxes to the same point, or the same sonic level, yet again, and then it ends. Binary Data 39 to 40, there is a noticeable jump in quality. Binary Data 40 actually feels like the complete opposite to Binary Data 39. There are more dynamics, the main melody plays in the background, however, there are some other melodies playing over it, which change every now and again, and you hear different rhythms and tempos as well to add more dynamics to the song. The song is also short but vigorous. It is sub 3 minutes, but it does a lot. Binary Data 35 started off with this slow burn and then it becomes relentless in the middle of the song. Binary Data 40 just starts off relentlessly and it maintains that attitude throughout its entire length. The song does not give you any time to breathe. I really appreciated the song after hearing Binary Data 39, which I was kind of disappointed with. Not much to say about Binary Data 41 other than the fact that it was a nice slowdown from Binary Data 40's wall of sound, so I am not going to show a clip of 41. It is rather tranquil and it is a nice intermission prior to what is going to be the finale of Binary Data Volume 4. There are not many dynamics with this song. The tempo, the rhythm, and the melody remain rather stagnant, but it is a nice song to chill to prior to the finale. On to Binary Data 42. I am not putting a clip of Binary Data 42, so this is 2 times in a row where the songs do not really strike me in this review. Binary Data 42 is a rather disappointing finale. The song slowly empowers itself into the end by adding more bass, but the rhythm, the tempo, and again the melody is rather stagnant. Not many dynamics. This is the main problem with Alfonso Peduto's music, and this is the same problem he faced throughout the entirety of Volume 3, and this song just proves it. I felt nothing in this finale. And honestly, in my opinion, I believe some of the songs in Binary Data Volume 4 should have been reorganized. I think Binary Data 35 should have been the ender because this is my favorite song on the album. This is a slow burn into this massive amount of power, and then it slows itself down to sound tranquil, and it ends off on this reverb, which really makes you feel something. But that song was near the beginning of the album. That is the second song, and throughout most of the album, I do not feel that power again until I reach Binary Data 40. Then it just stagnates away. It left me sort of disappointed. And overall, I think I kind of understand why Alfonso Peduto is struggling to put more dynamics in the songs. He uses a disclavier piano, which helps you make delayed notes to add on to the wall of sound. But when you do this, your piano is playing more notes than it usually does when you just play on your own. If you play melodies that are probably more dynamic than the ones you find in a Binary Data song, it could end up sounding like a bunch of mishmash with the amount of delays. So maybe this is like a complicated way to get around this problem, but I think Alfonso Peduto should alternate the way the piano plays itself. There should probably be some moments in a song where the piano does not really play itself and it does not have any delays. And then in certain other parts of the song, he should increase the amount of delay. I do not know if he could do that in the middle of a performance because it sounds like something he has to stop and do. But I feel like if he could do that in the middle of a song where he changes the amount of note delay there is, he could make binary data a much more complex piece of music. But I feel like some of the songs in this album did not really catch my attention. However, compared to all the other binary data volumes, I think this volume definitely stacks above binary data volume 3. Binary data volume 4 was slightly disappointing, but there were some songs of note. Like 35 is, in my opinion, the best song in the entire series. And in the same volume, binary data 39, which is my least favorite in the entire binary data series, happens. I do think that this album ranks above binary data volume 2 as well, just very slightly though, because binary data volume 2 was more stagnant than some of the songs in this volume. But compared to binary data volume 1, I still think the first volume is really good compared to the rest of them. Overall, binary data volume 4 is something I would listen to again. I have to give the score of 81%. I hope Alfonso Peduto watches this video and he probably takes my criticism in a good way. I hope you all enjoyed watching the video if you stayed this long. Thank you for watching. I am the old one and I am signing out. Stay alive.